You got 18 days now until kickoff against Louisville. I mean, what is the biggest thing both the offense and the defense need to work on between now and then?
We got to continue to work on being out here and being physical. The kids did a nice job today of touching each other, and we need to continue to do that to get ready for the first game.
Can I run through a few status updates with you guys?
You can run through.
Jihad, obviously we saw him back out here, but is he 100% at this point?
He's in white. He's 100%.
Isaiah Jones,
Getting better.
week 1 possible for him?
Absolutely.
Chris Bleich,
What about
he wasn't here.
sick?
Okay. Jason Simmons.
Yeah, we got to see.
Okay. All in all, it seems like pretty healthy after the first scrimmage.
After the first scrimmage, there's been some banging going on besides the scrimmage, but no complaints. We got to keep pushing.
Coach, first 2 weeks of training camp passed. What differences have you seen from your players over the course of that time?
Camaraderie, staying together, pushing each other, sharpening each other, iron versus iron.
This is your 7th training camp. What have you learned as a head coach in now your 7th year?
That even though the generations are totally different, they need the exact same thing: love and pushing.
How are your backup quarterbacks doing, and how much of the offense does Del Rio Wilson know?
Right now, we're gearing everything towards our starter, and the backups have to handle what they get, and then they have to perform with what they have.
The only other guy besides Garrett we've seen throw a pass and team or goal line is Carlos. I mean, he's kind of in the front of that backup race.
The parts that you guys haven't seen, other guys have thrown in practice as well.
Okay. How much of the offense do you think we've got down? That's obviously a big part of it, right?
We normally do a big test at the end of two days to make sure what they have and what they don't have before we go into the first game. I haven't done that yet, so I can't absolutely answer your question.
That's got to be one of the big things for him, right? Being only here 2.5 weeks or something.
Well, not really, because once we get into Louisville, we'll cut it down so they don't have to know the whole playbook. It'll be very specific.
Cool.
You know, to speak on Tony White a little bit and just what he's meant over these last couple seasons to this defense.
You know, the crazy thing about Coach White is that I saw him as a player when he was at UCLA. I was at Arizona. We played in a really big game, and he made a really big play in that game to give UCLA the victory over Arizona. He coaches that same way. He coaches big. Every practice has an inning to him, and his detail is uncanny. He's a young man in an old body. He's got an old soul.
And as far as the offensive line, that switch to the offensive side of it, where have they improved here as you're going toward, just a couple of weeks before that kickoff?
Staying together, getting physical, getting tougher. We're going to have guys going in, going out, so the lineup is rotating, which is good for us because that's going to happen during the year. They got to play multiple positions, which is always good.
What have you learned about Dakota at right tackle?
Dakota's played center, guard, and right tackle in this camp, so he's got a lot of versatility, and we're going to need him, man. We're going to need that versatility during the year.
I think just looking at him, maybe you don't picture a tackle, but I know he played in the last game of the season last year. I think he was maybe your starting tackle. Is there increased mobility that maybe we just haven't gotten a chance to see? Like, how do you see him handling Lincoln and some of the faster guys?
Well, I tell you what, they're all fast, and they're all hard to handle, so we can play 3 positions for us, and then we're comfortable with him playing those positions.
Sure.
I noticed a number of NFL scouts here this morning. What are those conversations like during training camp?
Very private.
But does it differ from kind of the conversations you're maybe having with these guys at the end of the season, getting ready for the draft?
You know, the thing about NFL scouts, they're going to watch the tape, and their job depends on who they pick and who they don't pick. So results are important. There's no doubt about it. But the main thing is we're going to tell them the truth.
And they're hitting you with everything?
There's some variety, yes, sir.
Can you talk a little bit about what you've seen from DeMarcus this training camp so far?
DeMarcus just recently, he's got a little owie, so he's been out. He's been out for a while, but before that, you saw fantastic speed.
And what do you see his role, especially with the receivers this year?
He needs to get back in there so we can define the run.
Trevor Pena has obviously dealt with a lot of adversity. How has he handled that, and how is he looking throughout this camp?
He's been in and out of camp, and he needs to get back on the field because he's a very explosive player, and we need him.
I asked you about Elijah Clark last week. What have you seen since? And then can you give me a little bit on just your evaluation of him as a player?
I think that Elijah's done a nice job in the scrimmage. I think he's a guy that we can depend on this year.
How helpful, he played corner with Rutgers, obviously. How helpful is that, maybe matchup-wise, having some good guard slots?
There's no doubt that he's very long, and not only has he done a fantastic job in camp, but other people are interested in him as well.
Going back to special teams. At the beginning of camp, you had mentioned they're one of the position groups that needs the most work. What have you seen out of them, and have they been improving?
There's no doubt that Coach Legashevsky is a fantastic coach, and the proof will be in the pudding when we play on September 3rd.
Any updates on that punter competition you got back there?
It's still a competition. They're still both punting.
Anyone in the scrimmage do something significant to improve their standing?
Jeremiah,
Wilson,
yes.
what did he do? Anything that you hadn't seen before, or just like consistency?
He's been getting a lot of interceptions.
So is it him and kind of Isaiah Johnson going for that third spot?
Again, I thought you asked him about Jeremiah, and I said Jeremiah did some really good things in the scrimmage.
Okay, fair enough.
Take 2 more for Coach.
How would you describe Enrique Cruz's character on and off the field?
Love his character off the football field. He's a family guy. His mom, dad, grandma. When they're around, they make everybody around him better. So he's the same way on the football field. He's all about the La Familia and the Ohana. Wish I had like 1,000 like him. Fantastic guy.
Seems like the one guy we've seen at receiver consistently out there is Rondé. Obviously, we didn't see him much last year. How much of this is just a continuation of what he was working on, or is there something he really did to position himself this offense?
I think this offense really fits some of his skill sets, and I think it'll give him more value than he had in the last one.
Like more in-breaking stuff?
No, it's not the in-breaking stuff. It's the versatility of how many different things you can do, and it doesn't matter what position you play.
All right, thanks, Coach.